Hello, Livestream Legends! Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Livestream Legends, where we are becoming Livestream Legends together. I have been sharing my streaming journey with all of y'all. And dropping all of the lessons and strategies and systems that I have learned along the way. So thank you guys for joining me. Let me know if you're hopping in here in the room. I see David Hunt is rocking and rolling with us, as well as Jared over on YouTube. Jennifer Brick coming in hot over on LinkedIn. Good to see all you brilliant people here. Thank you for sharing your journey with me. Let me know where you're coming in from and your level of experience with streaming. If you are new to streaming, just drop new. If you're kind of in the middle of things, drop mid in the comments. And if you consider yourself a bit of a pro or you're advanced with streaming and strategies and systems, drop pro. So let me know in the chat where you're coming in from or what your level of experience is. So brilliant to see some recurring faces here. Jackie Curley in the building, Chris Hennessy in the house, as well as inside the lab. I think I've seen you a couple times now. Amazing. Thank you guys for joining. We are just warming up before we jump into what we're talking about today, which is 5 super easy stream formats that you guys can get going with in under an hour. That's a bit of a exaggeration to show you how simple some of this stuff is, but you literally can start the show in under an hour and get streaming, especially with brilliant tools like Restream Studio. That's what we are rocking and rolling with today on all platforms: YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitch, all of those, Facebook as well, and dozens of others if you wanted to stream. So that is what we're tapping into today. Thank you for joining me on the adventure. Again, this is super interactive. So Scott, Jackie, Chris, all you guys that are hanging out, feel free to jump into the chat to either share your advice or your input, as well as asking any questions or we want to get the feedback loop going here today, so that you guys can really understand this from all angles. This streaming adventure is about finding what works for you. And that's what we're going to tap into today. So welcome to the party. Let's get rolling with some live show ideas and formats that you can steal. This is something that's going to be very powerful to load into your arsenal. And I'm going to share my approach to developing a show and understanding what type of parameters need to be set before jumping into things. And I promise you, it is so much easier than you think. Brilliant tools and technology have really simplified this equation to make things super easy. So what we're going to be going over today is how to discover your stream style, as well as how to set simple systems and goals for your show. And then the last piece is setting up your mindset to be able to adapt and evolve so that when you're thrown into the streaming journey, you are not just left out on your own, and you can optimize and iterate and make things better over time. Again, this isn't a static adventure. It's something that's going to be continuously changing and evolving. So let's jump into this first piece, which is discovering your stream style. So what exactly this means is the same way that you think about like fashion or something else that varies from person to person. You have to work and find what works for you. The same way I couldn't just open up a magazine and put on some, I don't know, Johnny Depp like high fashion Hollywood suit and expect it to look the same on me. You got to work to find your style, what works for you as well as for your audience. Those two key pieces are going to be what connects the dots to a successful show. So let's keep it rocking and rolling with discovering your stream style. And the easiest way to think of this is something I call the streaming spectrum, or finding your stream style along a spectrum. There's two things to consider here: is your personal preferences, which is going to determine if we're going to land on the upper half of this or the lower half of this. And then the other piece is what your audience needs, what the content of the show is going to be. And that's going to be this horizontal side of the spectrum. So ultimately, based on two simple preferences, you will land in one of these stream style categories. And then we'll have options for you that are compatible with not only your individual style, but the style that will work best for your audience. So the first piece of this equation, let's start here with the vertical piece of the spectrum. And this is going to be based on your personal preference. Do you prefer having feedback? Do you need a feedback loop when you're communicating with people and engaging with others? Or are you the type of person that needs to zone in, get in the zone, and just solely focus on the task at hand? So based on which end of the spectrum you prefer, if you need that active engagement going on, you're going to land on the higher end of the spectrum up here. And you're going to need a more engaging stream. And this other piece down at the bottom, if you're the type of person that gets just overwhelmed, if there's too much stuff going on at once, can't keep track of a bunch of things at once, you might need a more passive stream. And again, this isn't anything that's better or worse objectively. This is something that you find and work on for yourself. So thank you guys for all joining. YouTube is definitely representing. I see plenty of people here. Thank you guys all for rocking and rolling. I'm checking in on the chat here. Good to see you, Luke. Good to see you, Jackie. Beth in the building. Amazing. So this is what we're doing to determine your style. If you're just jumping in here late, we're first tapping into how to find your stream style. And then based on that, you are going to, we'll load you up with show options that actually work specifically for you. So first thing is see where you land on this spectrum, the upper half or the lower half. And then based on that, we're now going to switch from your preferences to the audience preference. You want to be mindful of the viewer experience that we're setting. So this is going to be based on two ends of the spectrum. One end, we've got the education and information. This is over here on the left. And then the other side is something very emotional, entertaining. There's not a whole lot of insights to be gathered, but it really hits you in the soul. So depending on which side, and the entertainment side could just be something more fun to kind of casually hang out. So this is now the viewer end of the experience. So you've determined your prior experience here, if it's going to be more engaging or more passive. Then we jump into here. Would you prefer the viewer to obtain information, or do you want them to absorb some type of feeling from this show? And based on those prior two simple questions, you should land in one of these quadrants. And this will give you your anchor point for what type of show is going to work best for you as well as for your audience. So amazing to see everybody in here. Thank you guys so much. I'm trying to keep this one as informative and as clean as possible. So If I miss your comments sneaking in here, I love you and appreciate you. But amazing to see all you here. So I'm assuming y'all have landed in one of these quadrants based on the prior two exercises. And this can be something we'll just keep... you can just revisit this page for all of the total stream styles. I don't want to get into literally every type of show you can develop, but we are going to jump into 5 specific show formats in each of these categories. So no matter what you landed in, you have options in front of you. And you can always come back to this video, find what type of shows or segments are really going to work for you. And another key piece to remember here is you can play a bit of a mix and match with segments. You're not locked into one single format for the entire duration of your show or for every season of your show. You have flexibility to adapt from day to day, week to week, month to month, etc. So based on that, let's jump into specific show ideas we have. Again, if you need to screenshot this or jump back in the replay, these will always be here. We also do have a prior episode that is 100% on discovering your stream style and then how to build and combine using these segments. But let's just jump into more specific examples. Now that y'all are rocking and rolling with me, let's jump into show format number 1, which is the AMA. You may have seen this in other areas online. I see it on Reddit a lot. This is a very popular format, and it's starting to become more popular among high-level coaches, consultants, streamers, influencers, anybody that wants to give access to themselves to their audience. So if this is something you typically struggle with, if you consistently don't have enough time to connect with your audience, to connect with the people that are following you, this is going to be a brilliant format for you to test. And essentially, the AMA is a very simple format, exactly as it sounds. It's an Ask Me Anything. These are super easy to set up for solo shows. So if you don't want to deal with guests or you have trouble booking guests, this is something to keep in your arsenal as a powerful tool. It's also a really critical way to build rapport and share pieces of your personality with your audience. That's one of the most valuable pieces of streaming that I've discovered is you have this real-time connection here, like when people are literally jumping in the chat here, Luke and Kirsten and Jennifer, all these guys, we are building rapport in real time, sometimes just for a few minutes, other times for hours at a time. And this is where it can be so powerful to start building relationships with your audience. So consider the AMA format for any solo shows, and a few key details to consider in this format. You want to set an intriguing topic that has layers that you can get into. If you keep it very surface level, it's very easy to get dry. You start repeating yourself. So think of something that has multiple layers or perspectives that you can explore. That's going to be really powerful. And the third piece to consider here is answering questions in real time. There's something special about an immediate feedback loop. When somebody hears from you right after they ask a question, they feel like they're part of the journey, feel like they're crafting this show, this experience, literally with you. So try to answer questions in real time. If some sneak through the cracks and you don't get to them, go back in the replay and catch everything that you can through follow-up comments, DMs, whatever. But to the best of your ability, try to answer these questions in real time. And then the last piece is including the audience for their input as well as their answers. So obviously the goal here is for people to be coming in to ask questions, but another key piece of this that can really shape your show and give it a lot of extra meat on the bone is utilizing the audience and their input and their answers to drive the conversation. So throw a few questions back at your audience when they're there with you, and you might discover it can take the conversation to a way more interesting place. Or perhaps there's alternative perspectives in the room that you can highlight both ends of an equation or a debate of some sort. So consider how all of the creative ways that you can keep your audience coming back and either asking more questions or inputting their advice or their input onto the subject. That's going to be really powerful. So there it is. There's option number one. If you are wanting to get a stream going, set up an AMA. Now, let's go ahead onto number two. A very fun one here. This is going to be in that engaged, active section of that stream style quadrant. And this is setting up an interactive game or activity. So like a game show type of thing, or some type of simple activity that the audience and yourself can participate and go back and forth playing something simple like trivia. There's all kinds of, I learned from Luke here, code names is another brilliant, easy game that you can get going. Any way that you can have people interact with your stream is a big win when you're trying to build any type of relationship. So the premise here is, rather than relying on you as an individual, you as a streamer or as a guest to really bring the heat and bring the fire, you can have a game or activity going that's really the primary anchor point of the stream. And what this does is this reduces a lot of the pressure on you as an individual. The whole like solo streamer dilemma. You feel like you need to be an entertainer, and there's this constant pressure to keep doing something and keep being engaging. These interactive games and activities are a brilliant way to have a lighthearted stream, keep things moving, but not have to absorb all of the pressure to yourself. So the way you would do this is setting up a screen share, either on your existing computer or connecting a second monitor or whatever, to play a specific game or activity that people can join. This is a key piece of this is people don't want to just watch two people play something online or participate. They want to be a part of the journey. So that leads into the second piece here of using something that is easy to join and easy to learn as well. This is a hurdle when you're in a digital realm. You want to think of how can you reduce or remove as much friction as possible. So simple stuff like Jackbox games, if you've ever seen those, are very easy to learn, very easy to play, as well as trivia. Everybody knows that. I briefly mentioned code names. There's so many options here that you can fill up to have an activity that multiple people can join, and everybody from the audience feels like they're a part of this experience. So the last piece of this is when people are hopping in, you got to remember that the way live streams work, not everybody is there from the first minute to the last minute. You have to accommodate the people that are just hopping in late and wondering what the hell's going on here. So make sure you're clarifying what's going on and give quick little updates of, hey, what's up, guys? So we are playing, according to Greg's suggestion here, Among Us. We're playing a quick game of Among Us. If you'd like to join, download the game here and join the link here. Simple updates like that are going to give you more engagement for people that jump on late and might feel like they have no idea what the hell's going on. So if you are one of the people that jumped into this stream late, what we're going into right now is 5 super simple stream ideas and show formats that you can get going super quickly. And right now we are on number 2, which was an interactive game or activity of some sort. So that's the last piece here is for considering your role as a host. So obviously you want to make people feel included. But another thing you can do is start adding some colorful commentary to enhance the experience. Let people know what's going on. Get a little emotional when big moments happen, or something exciting is about to happen. This is going to be a way that consistently keeps people pooling further and further into your world, and wanting to be a part of what is going on. So that is number 2. I can already see we are going to go way over our 30-minute mark as usual, folks, but thank you for rocking and rolling with me. Let's keep it going with show style number 3. And this is something you are probably most familiar with, but we're going to go into the advanced details of how you can really maximize this. But this is the expert interview, where you are using your live stream medium to bring on a guest to your show, and then you utilize that guest's insight, their story, and everything based on their expertise. This is probably considered the most traditional live stream format, but I will also confess these are very easy to become the most boring live stream format as well. So here are some key pieces to really make sure, if you're pursuing this guest-based strategy, of how you can keep it fresh and how you can really maximize the mileage of the format, because it is a brilliant format. I don't want to talk too much smack about the talking heads that are everywhere on every live stream, but there is a way to do it right and make it a better experience for the viewer. So starting with, because the guest is the anchor point of everything, you really want to invest in who you're selecting as a guest, and as well as preparing them. So investing on the front end in systems to book high-level guests, and then also make sure that they're prepared. When they come to the stream, they know what's going on. Of course, there's always forgiveness and tech errors and stuff that you can roll through. But ideally, if you're consistently having guests on your show, you want them to come in with no concerns about what am I getting into? What are we talking about? What is this? Like, what is this whole adventure? Because if the guest is not excited about the show, it's going to show. It's going to bleed through the screen. Their energy or their lack of energy, depending on which direction it goes, is a key piece of this. So invest in making sure the guest is appropriate, relevant, and prepared for your show. Now, once you've done that, you want to be clear on setting the goal or the topic of the show. One of the things that really pulls people towards a stream like this, I'm sure many of the people here, is having a specific topic, like 5 specific show formats that you can steal. People probably heard that and wanted to jump into this. So think based on your show type, your audience, and your guest, what is a really attractive goal or topic that you can accomplish on stream with your audience. That's the way you want to set this up, is making it an experience that you bring the audience into. So the last piece we want to focus on is making the guest shine. This is a really key piece of this strategy. When you have a guest on, it's very easy to get pulled into the comments. It's very easy to get focused on like, oh, I got this cool story from back when, blah, blah, blah. And in those moments sparingly are great, but what's more powerful is really just making your guest look and feel like an absolute superstar. And if you can accomplish that, you'll get a ton of extra mileage on your content and everything that all the shows that you are pursuing in this format. So one more piece to consider here, number 4, is making sure you loop the audience back into the show. You want to make sure that you're not just sitting here talking with a guest and neglecting the audience so that they just feel like a fly on the wall. If for whatever reason you do notice this is happening on a recurring basis, it might be a better idea to set up your show as a podcast rather than the live stream setup. And actually, thankfully, with tools like Restream Studio, you can double dip and do both. So keep in mind how you can let the audience be a part of the journey, control some questions, maybe have a segment where people can drop a specific question for the guest at the end. Little stuff like that really goes a long way for making people feel like they weren't ignored or neglected from the show. So speaking of, I see plenty of brilliant people rocking and rolling with us. Inside the Lab is still chilling on LinkedIn. Jackie Curley still rocking and rolling on Twitch. Amazing to see all your guys' continued support. Let's keep it rolling into number 4, which is a gaming passion or hobby stream. This is something that's become really popular on Twitch. Now, this is a way to jump into live streaming without needing to make it feel like you have a huge commitment or official show in front of you that you have to run. What these gaming and passion and hobby streams are essentially capturing something that you would be doing anyway. So if you were playing a game or if you were working on some type of art or a hobby or a project like woodworking, anything that has a physical activity or visual presence, you can actually convert that specifically into a stream without a ton of extra work. So think of a game that you already play, some type of activity or hobby or experience that you can record and share with other people as a stream. And here are some key pieces to consider in that equation. Number 1, set up a visual experience or activity. Think of something that people enjoy watching. There's lots of movement, or there's a before and after. So this is going to be brilliant for physical artists, drawing on canvas or anything like that. Sculptures, pottery. I know Luke Matthews, who's here, he and his wife have done pottery streams, which have been super engaging, super simple to do something you're already doing. Think of what that would be in your world. I know a few people, I've watched some art streams where you can see from start to finish from an empty canvas to a finished piece or an almost fully finished piece. And there's something really special about being a part of the journey, being a part of somebody's experience, especially when you see that product in final form at a later date or time. You have this feeling of like, oh my God, I was there. Like I was there when they were making that. Like, are you kidding me? Like, and it's just such a special way to connect with people. And Dylan is mentioning, making an art stream sounds super interesting. I promise if you have ran out of stream ideas, consider putting any of your gaming activities or passions or hobbies that you normally do day to day and try it as a live stream. See who connects with it. You're going to find like-minded people that enjoy just being there with for the experience. So when you are jumping into the stream, let's tap into a few best practices here with number 2. Similar to the game show activity thing, you want to engage people with commentary. Let them know what is going on. So rather than just letting it be a visual only, watch me do this for an hour, explain your thought processes, explain the inspiration, explain the ideas of what's going on in your head, or if it's a game, if it's a strategy that you're using. Talk about that stuff out loud, and you can use that to spur conversations while people are there with you. So consider how you can be a commentator of your own adventure when you are starting these streams. So in that similar vein, jumping into tip number 3 for this format is asking for suggestions or requests or feedback. So this would be something to, again, pull the audience into your world and make them feel like they were a part of the journey. So this would be great for musicians, any type of artists that are open to suggestions or feedback. This is something that you can create with people in real time. So think of all the ways you can include that. And then the last piece, this is really what makes it feel special, is you want to create the experience like people are in the room with you. So one of the ways you can do this is by adding a second camera. So if I was working on a physical art piece here, it would be amazing to have a second camera from up above or from the side or wherever that's displaying the piece, as well as just my normal here I am in my room type of camera. And this really adds to the experience of people feeling like they're there with you. And it just reshapes the experience so that they can be a part of not only the work that's happening, but the environment and your world as well. So keep that in mind of how you can do extra camera angles or perspectives to give a new view on the exact same thing you were already doing. Again, this is about maximizing your energy, maximizing your time in the whole world of content creation. So consider this format, this number 4 format, as a way to get extra mileage out of something you would already be doing in your life. So amazing to see some new people rocking and rolling with us. Nick is back in the house. Enrique, hello, brother. Kirsten, glad you are still rocking and rolling. Amazing. So we have one more little format to sneak into. Again, there are dozens of formats to tap into. If you are curious about finding your stream style, building your own show, and turning it into a media machine, into your content marketing system, your content marketing strategy, hit me up. I would love to support your journey wherever you're at in that adventure. But for now, let's keep it rolling with the last of our super simple stream setups, which is the chill stream. One of my absolute favorites because this really lowers the bar and breaks the stigma and the psychology of what you need to be doing with streaming. I often struggle with this perfectionist mentality when I'm thinking of anything from music to content to a stream like this. I have this paralysis of everything needs to be set up, everything needs to be perfect. I need to have this ready and this ready and this ready, and it's just overwhelming. It's so overwhelming, and I get it. Trust me, if you are ever in that boat, I get it. But there is a remedy, which I call the chill stream, and it's almost frustrating that the some of these chill streams actually do better than the fully planned and highly produced shows. So it's just to give you a little bit of taste of, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be fancy lighting and transitions and intros and outros and all this stuff. You can literally turn on a stream with no plan and just let it roll And it might be a brilliant stream if you can follow some of these pieces. Now, the key pieces for this to work is to be present. If you are doing this chill stream activity, you absolutely just have to be in the moment and be as present as possible. You can't just throw it on and obviously be passively engaged and expect people to actually hang around. What ends up happening is if you're engaged with the chat and you're engaged with the audience that is there with you, you start to form the show together. You start to talk about specific things that are really going to help you find out what works on streaming. What do people actually like doing? What do they hate doing? It really sets the bar so low for people to feel like they are a part of the experience. So it is something to lower the pressure, but it is also something you have to be mindful of, to be present in the moment. And then the second piece of that is being able to adapt and evolve from that. So I see a few quick questions that snuck in here. Inside the Lab is asking how to connect. You can connect with me on LinkedIn is probably the easiest way. If anybody's over on the YouTube that can drop the LinkedIn, that would be brilliant. No worries if not. But I will support you regardless of what chapter of your journey you are on. I just want to plug in and help people bring streams to life in any way. So we're on number 5 of our 5 show formats that you can start in under an hour. These are all super, super simple ways to get going. And this last one we're chatting about is the chill stream. So we mentioned being present and being open to adapt and evolve throughout the show. And then other key piece of this is, again, asking for suggestions, requests, and feedback with your audience. If you have this feedback loop going, you essentially have a bottomless pit of content to continuously pursue or jump into, or new topics to explore. There's always going to be ways to something to tap into if you're engaging the audience. What you want to avoid is jumping into a chill stream but not paying attention. If you accidentally neglect or ignore some of the commentary that is coming through, you are going to lose a lot of viewers in the first place, but then you also don't have that feedback loop that could have been continued for a while. So one of the last pieces that you can consider here, number 4 in the chill stream, is in the moment throwing somebody up on screen and bringing them into the show. This is something that is so easy to do now with these browser studio stuff like Restream Studio that I'm using now. I could drop a single link into the chat, into the description, and people can literally join the show if they wanted to. And you can bring them on as a special guest or play activities or whatever you want. It's going to be a really creative way to, keep things spiced up on the show, like what the hell's going on, who's jumping in here. But then even better, the experience of an audience member or somebody that literally gets to jump into the stream feels so cool. It feels like you got invited backstage to like the VIP table or some sort. So think of how you can create a unique experience by bringing some friends or audience members on stage in the moment, and just see where it goes. Again, the whole key here is to be present, adapt, and evolve. That will give you a super, super simple stream setup that you can start in I know the whole title of this was to start in under an hour, but if you wanted to start a chill stream, you could click the link in this description, create your account in like 4 or 5 clicks, and go live in a couple minutes. You literally, It's that easy. I promise you, you're creating more hurdles in your head than there are in reality. So please give this a shot. Please give this a consideration. And of course, the primary tool that I continuously use and suggest and recommend is the lovely, brilliant Restream. They have a great setup for me where Restream Studio, which is their browser-based studio, I use for any shows where I need simple guest interactions or like the screen share education type of stuff. That works perfect for me. It's super easy, and I can all control it here in my web browser. I don't need any of the fancy software. But the great part about Restream is when I want to jump up to the advanced complex stuff with alerts and layers and transitions and all of that fancy stuff, I can still plug it into my same Restream account. So if you are curious about starting that adventure, the super easy version is to just jump in the link that's in this video description, and you can start your account for free. You can connect your LinkedIn, your YouTube, your Facebook, whatever accounts you want. Restream lets you sync as many channels as you want for free, and you can get started for free as well. So that's the simplest route to get going, and I advise if you haven't tested the waters of streaming, that's the route you want to go. But I would like to offer to the people that do want to take this a level further, I am starting to coach and produce for other individuals. So if you are curious about starting your own live stream show and you want to go through the entire process of discovering your stream style, getting the best setup, the best gear, the best everything, we'll get you hooked up to essentially have a full experience from start to finish, from idea to show launch. Will support you. And Indy is asking, where is the link? It should be in both the YouTube description and the LinkedIn description. If it is not, I will drop it literally right now because I am improvising on the spot. Welcome to the second half of the show where I am trying to hook up Indy over on YouTube with the link. So that should be dropped on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitch as well. If you're rocking and rolling with us on Twitch, that link right there will get you started on Restream Studio for free. So that is the path of least resistance to get going. And I advise, if you just want to test the waters, boom, get it rocking and rolling. And the alternative option, if you want to step up into the big leagues, I am running a media production master camp. What we've done is combine a master class that has basically everything that you need to learn, from the tech, the gear, to setup, all of that, to the nitty-gritty details and strategy of how this plugs into your business, how this plugs into your life. All those critical details that need to come together to make something sustainable. And what we've done is combine that masterclass with a boot camp experience where we're literally there with you, creating your show, testing the tech, and we're there with you all the way up until the launch of your first stream, and your show is built, the machine is put together, and everything that you need to know about putting together a live stream production that then converts and plugs into your business. That whole process, we are there with you for the entire journey. So if you are interested in that adventure rather than just jumping into Restream Studio and figuring it out, please check out beast.camp to enroll in that masterclass master camp. I'll drop it here with the HTTP because apparently the link doesn't work without that. This is going to be the best way to go from zero to hero in the live stream world. And you have the best part about this is you have a community to join and a bunch of people to share this journey with. So when you're developing your show, you can have a community or a small class that's graduating with you. So everybody that is jumping in late, I see we got a few stragglers. So I'm going to briefly accommodate all the people that are hopping in here a little bit late. What we've gone over today is 5 simple show strategies to get started in under an hour. And honestly, some of these would be even quicker. So the actual way to pursue this is through Restream Studio, is the easiest, but you have to have a game plan of some sort. So we went over a bunch of ways to discover your stream style and then how to jump into specific show formats. So I'm just jumping backwards real quick to a slide that I briefly went over, but this is just to give you a surface level idea of how many directions this can go. Please don't just think of streaming as a talking head interview platform. Sure, that is great, and there is a brilliant way to do that right. But in totality, this is just a new medium of real-time communication. So think of anything that you would do in the real world that is at least a little bit semi-social at all, and those are things that you can do on stream. For myself personally, I've really loved jumping into game show type of stuff and games and activities. I think I'm going to start doing more and more of those. Would love to tap into music streaming. I'm producing music in after hours. That would be fun things to share with you guys. So think of all these ideas and think of what you would do in a normal real world environment, how you can translate that to live streaming, and I guarantee you can find a stream style of some sort that you will enjoy. So that is technically the end of the line, but I am going to open it up if anybody here has any questions, specific questions about this streaming world, how to get your own shows going, any of the tech stuff. I still got 10 minutes I technically can use. If anybody here has a question to drop directly in the chat, we'll see what we got. If not, no worries. We are going to go ahead and start entering the open Q&A section of the show here, where it's just a conversation here, y'all. We are chilling together. We are essentially at the end of the show, but I also want to give you guys a chance to jump in here. So Juliet, thank you so much. Beth, thank you for joining the party. John has been rocking and rolling with us. Apologies if I missed some of your guys' prior comments, but thank you for joining this super special episode. Would love to help at any stage of your journey. So if you just want to get something super simple started, I'd love to point you in the right direction, get you going. Or if you have grand plans to launch an epic, brilliant show, absolutely would love to support you at that level of the journey as well. So I see we do have a few questions sneaking in here. Thank you, Chris. Chris is asking, what do you recommend as a good mid-level webcam? So I am a fan of the Logitech C920, I believe is the official model number. I think it's like 50-60 bucks, and it's can jump all the way to 1080p HD. So the webcam is very affordable, middle of the road, but looks good. Looks like this. And again, there are key pieces. Lighting is a huge piece of this equation that you have to get right. And then a few tech things as far as adjusting the settings of your webcam once you get it. If you've ever had trouble with stuff either being way too bright, way too dark, your skin looks washed out or the wrong color. Those are all little details that you can adjust in the settings long term that will be really big wins for getting extra mileage out of the cheaper gear. So yeah, USB webcam should be good to rock and roll. Indie is new to streaming. Thank you so much. There's actually an entire playlist of these episodes, Indie, if you are interested. The Livestream Legends show has a playlist on the Restream YouTube, so you can go through there. That'll give you a lot of the foundations or the basics of things. And I think a lot of tutorial type stuff as well, if you just want to run through the how-tos. So feel free to check that out, Indie. You're actually, I believe you're watching it on the Restream YouTube channel. So that's where the episodes are technically archived. I am on LinkedIn, I am on Twitch as well. But Indie, if you are on the Restream setup, Restream YouTube channel, that is where you'll find it. Another question from LinkedIn user, what mic and headset? Solid question. Again, if anybody is curious to go through every single step of this journey from idea to show launch and developing all of that, please do check out the link beast.camp. That'll get you to our landing page for getting enrolled in our master camp. But for now, just giving you a few quick suggestions. The microphone has a really wide spectrum of cheap versus irrationally expensive. So we have actually reached a point where the USB microphones have actually gotten really impressively good. I used to be an audio elitist saying that you needed an XLR cable and like a studio microphone, but actually a USB microphone, I know Shure has a few of them. The Yeti is okay, is pretty good. Those are very doable, and similar to how you can use an economy level webcam and then rely on lighting to make the big difference. Audio can operate in a similar way. You can get a mid-level mic or a USB microphone, and if your room is properly treated and you have good distance with your mic, you're not always talking the wrong direction and stuff where it starts to sound weird. There is stuff that makes it really sound crisp and clean without needing to buy $1,000 microphone. I am grateful. I actually have this mic that I bought in high school to record music, and I have been using it for like over 10 years now, and it's still good. So you can use any of the USB mics that are out today. That'll be great. And then when it comes to listening, on the other end, the headset. The reason I use this headset is because I want to know the exact same thing that you guys are hearing on the stream. So I have these music levels in the background competing with my voice. So I need to know when the music's way too loud. Like this would be a little excessive. But giving a headset, wearing a headset throughout the experience, even though I don't have a guest, helps me know exactly what you guys are hearing to monitor the show. So that's the reason of using a headset in the first place. And then ultimately, the headphones aren't going to matter nearly as much. As long as you can hear your guest and you have enough clarity in the headphones to understand relative audio levels, or if something is just really off, honestly, any set of headphones will work. I'm using a pair of wireless headphones so that I can dance around, rave around if I need to without being wired to anything. But as far as technical need, you're good to go with any pair of headphones and any pair of headsets. So don't let that be a hindrance to hold you back from streaming. All of those hurdles can be knocked over very easily with simple gear. The software's gotten ridiculous. It's amazing now that I'm deep in this live stream world, how much everything has evolved and how easy it is to get started. So if you want to start the journey, this will be my last pitch. Jump into the Restream Studio link, which is in the YouTube description, as well as in the LinkedIn description, and that'll get you going on Restream Studio, which is a click and point style browser studio that you can run shows from in a couple minutes. Super simple, super easy, don't need anything fancy. It's hands down the easiest option to get going. And then for those of you that do want to really do this and you want to become a pro producer, you want to run your own shows like a pro broadcast, or if you want to become a producer to run other people's shows as a service, this is what we have developed the Beast Camp for. So if that sounds interesting to you, you can enroll at beast.camp is the URL. If anybody wants to drop that link one more time for me, you have options. We want to carry you from idea to reality, and I promise you it's simpler than you think. So that's going to be the end of the line for this show. I hope you guys have a really great idea of not only how to set up shows and get started streaming, but when you do start streaming, now you've got an arsenal of different types of easy shows that you can essentially just throw in your back pocket for when a guest bails, or when you're just not feeling the solo style show. You have new options, new show formats, new ideas that you can continuously pursue. So thank you guys so much for joining the party. This is technically the end of the show. I'm just gonna keep the music on and keep things rocking and rolling for last minute or 30 seconds here for our end card and anybody else that has joined here a little bit late. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. We are sharing this journey. I am just figuring out this live stream stuff 1 week at a time, and then sharing whatever I learn or need to learn with you guys. So hopefully you can see how simple little show like this Restream Studio can come together really nice with a little bit of effort. So thank you for joining me for another episode of Livestream Legends. We will catch you next week. And every week after that. The goal is to be doing this every week. If you guys keep supporting, I will keep bringing the goods, and we can continue to level up the show and level up our live streams together until we become Live Stream Legends. Thank you guys so much. I will catch you next week. Cheers.